Hey everybody, this is a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it's your girl Marvel. Yes, it's me. Finally, it's been a whole year. Yes, I'm back. I finally got in a routine of things with the kids, school starting, and finally got to a place where I can start this back and do it routinely. First things first, let's get into it. I'm doing fine mentally. Things are going great for me and the kids. I have a lot more peace in my life. I removed a lot of things. I've learned a lot of things, and I've grown a lot. Um, I've got to a place where life is a lot more precious for me. I'm a lot happier, and I appreciate the life that I have a lot more. So I've done everything to protect this piece and keep it thriving, basically. Um, as far as like real mental health, um, I've gotten to a place where I speak, more about how I feel directly. I'm not harboring any bad feelings. I'm not going back and forth about how I feel about things. I'm accepting things for how they are and just moving past it, giving it to God, praying about it, and then that's it. Once I give it to God, it's over. It's not even in my mind anymore. Um, Rain did start school. I did have a lot of anxiety about that, you know, him being in a new situation, him being in a new um place and, him being in a new environment, with other kids, new faces, um, taking direction from other adults. He's been home with me this whole time. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And things were different, but you know, we both I'm changing things at home so that he's a lot greater at school. Um, I'm just in a place where growing isn't, I'm not defensive or feeling, bad about growing anymore. Um, Growing to me now is a beautiful thing. Um, I used to take offense to changing who I was, but now it's a beautiful thing. You know, I've accepted that growing is definitely a positive thing for all of us. And if we're not growing, then we're stagnant, we're stubborn, we're staying in the same place. And I don't want to be in the same place all the time now. Like I said, the way I do things now has brought me so much more peace. Um, so, changing things at home and evaluating how I was as a parent and how I conduct things in my household, looking and figuring out what's the problem, what can I change to make Rain more successful in kindergarten. And, it was more about routine, you know, letting him know why he can't do certain things, letting him know, like, hey, we have to do good things. These are the good things we're going to role model, and these are the bad things we're not going to do. Um, Discipline is more of talking, timeouts, not really spankings, not really, trying not to scream as much, um, try not to get angry before I get my point across. More of like, hey, you can't do this, you know, hey, if you're not gonna listen, we're gonna do a timeout. Then we'll go back and we'll talk about it again. Then we can move forward. That's just how things are now with me and him. That's what works for Rain. Um I love flourishing. I'm definitely very open to flourishing, trying new things. I got a compliment from my stepdaughter one day. We were getting ready for breakfast, and I was talking about something I wanted to try, or a new hobby I wanted to take. Oh, I was talking about how when I was in middle school, intermediate school, middle school, I was in orchestra and band, and how I wanted to go back to playing the viola because I played the viola in the fifth grade. I played the cello in the eighth grade. No, the sixth grade, I played the cello. I think it was the sixth grade I played the cello. And then I played snare. I know how to play the snare, I know how to play the marimba. And I was telling her I want to play an instrument, like just randomly. I was like, I'm gonna go back to playing an instrument. I want Dad to buy me a viola for Christmas, and she says, I just love how you just do so many hobbies. Like I think that's so cool. And I told her honestly, we have one life to live, and I'd rather just live my life to the fullest. It never dawned on me that I know how to do a lot of things, or I just randomly, decide one day, hey, I'm gonna start playing with air dry clay, and just start making shit. Or one day I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna start a podcast. Or one day I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna help Jalen, start photography. She can have my old camera and she can do this. Or I'll start collecting books for the kids, or it's just so much random shit in this household. Okay, if you ever been to my house, you know I got something for something. Or if you're ever been in my like a personal, if you're a person in my life, and you call me and be like, hey, can you do this? You know I can do it. Baby, I can Photoshop something. I can make a design. I can make a logo. I can do anything I put my mind to. And I told her basically, God gave me the gift of knowing things and learning things. And I'm going to be learning and knowing things to the day I die, basically. So, yes, I want to take up, learning more about the viola because I only played beginner's viola, but it's definitely something I want to get into. Um, Today's episode is going to be mainly about a comment my friend made the other day, and we're going to get into it. Basically, we were talking about a situation that she has in her personal life. My friend, she's very caring, very loving, and um, you know, she has all these things going on in her life, new things, graduated school, starting a new career, and we were talking about a certain thing, and she made a comment almost like not really that she wish she can be outspoken like me and just say how she feels in the moment, you know and I told her, no, you don't. I immediately told her it's a curse and a gift, because I've had situations where I'll let anger speak for me before anything. And sometimes I've, I pick and choose, because certain situations, if my anger plays part in it, it would never, it would be nothing. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they will, they like to say, "Oh, you didn't say nothing in the situation." Yeah, because if I would have said anything, you'll be ready to fight. I'll be honest. Okay, you would have been ready to fight. Um, so, but it got so bad to where I would let anger fester inside of me till I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. I don't even know you. We're not cousins. Don't know you. Who are you? Baby, I can't even see you type shit. Um, I have situations in my life where I've been very stubborn and I'll cut you off for and the situation that broke the camel's back might have been small, but the principle was very big to me. If I felt like you've disrespected me over the years and I cut you off, that's why. It was never because of the situation, the last situation we had, but because of past shit I've let happen. And if I felt like the relationship we had together was going through a cycle where you were constantly disrespecting me and we would not talk and then get back to talking and it'll be the same shit over and over again, I cut you off. I finally did it. I prayed about it recently because one of the situations I feel like can be reconciled, and it's with a cousin. I love her dearly. We're very close. We were very close, but I feel like even if we talk today, still very close, it'll feel like, oh my God, I missed you so much. But it's the fucking principle. I just, I don't know. The other two people that I majorly cut out my life, they can, yeah. I prayed about it. It's never gonna happen. Never gonna be a reconciliation. Never. Um, and some people I just keep, we keep each other as a distance. And I feel like for our peace in the relationships that I have with these people, it's better that way. And some people aren't meant to be super close. Some people aren't meant to be in your life fully, And I've came to the realization, I prayed about it. God has definitely showed me that some people are better at arm's reach. And this goes back to the conversation I was having with my friend because I let her know that sometimes, you know, in situations with people, you don't have to cut them off. You can have them at arm's reach. The relationship can just change. And I wish I would have learned this earlier with certain situations because, like I said, the one cousin I do have, I would love to recon reconcile with her. Um, right now, it's just a pride thing for me. And I'm more of like, I don't want to go through this again with her. I don't want to have to fight with her again. Don't want to have, you know, the same cycle over and over again, basically. If it's better for us to not talk and I have peace, that's fine with me too. I just don't want to go through the cycle again. But I do love this person. I do care for them. But I feel like me being stubborn, me not saying how I feel, letting shit fester has definitely hurt a lot of my relationships, you know, with friends, family, or whatever. Even my kids too. Um, I'm a lot more open to things. Like I said, I'm still growing, still flourishing in my own way. And my friend was telling me something, and I was laying in bed this morning and I was thinking about it, and it was like, um, somebody asked her, if if your older self could give this advice to any version of yourself, who would who would your older self give it to? And her reply was her younger self. I would give it to my teenage self. Only because my teenage self was very lost, very stubborn. I thought I was grown. I thought I knew everything. And if I knew what I know now, I feel like I could have avoided a lot of things I went through, a lot of relationships, a lot of hurt, a lot of, feeling confused about certain things or harboring onto to shit just, harboring feelings just to be like, oh, well, you did this to me, when really my soul had already healed from it. But my stubbornness wanted to hold on to it so it can be a defense mechanism. And I just wish, I just wish and I hope for my children's sake that they don't have to go through shit like this because it hurts so much to harbor onto bad shit, and you really don't realize it until you're alone and you're like, damn, that really wasn't that serious. I really could have told this person how I felt and we could have moved on, you know? But some people aren't worth, you know, some people aren't worth this version of me. They are not worth me giving them this version of me. The version that's growing and trying to do better and be a better person. I'm not giving that to them. I'm not. I'm so sorry to say this, but they can fuck off. My biggest pet peeve is somebody being passive aggressive with me, somebody trying to make me look bad with untrue things, and somebody that's just I just ugh, I just can't deal with it. That's one thing I hate. I hate somebody that's passive aggressive. Like, girl, if you can't tell me how you really feel about me, then we don't even need to be around each other. If you don't even know how you feel about me, if you're confused about it, we don't need to be around each other. And if you're going back and forth on how you feel about me, you definitely don't need to be fucking around me. I don't trust you because I know exactly how I feel about people. And if I do not like you, or if I do not feel good about you, we're not talking. We're not hanging out. We're not nothing. It's nothing. And for me, that wishy washy up and down shit is not gonna work. And again, like I told my friend, it's a blessing, is a curse. And I love that she cares so much for the people in her life. And I wish that, I feel like because I rather just be stubborn, that I don't see the love and care I have for the person. You know? Um, it's just, I've grown to just let some shit go, but it's hard sometimes. Especially when some shit is just common sense, you know? Like, girl, I can y'all, I really can't tell y'all like how many situations I've been in and I've just been like, life is not real right now. Ain't no way. Ain't no way life is real right now. Like, ain't no fucking way that this is real life. Like, I be literally laughing at some of the shit I hear because some of the shit just does not make sense. It doesn't. And I'd be like, there's no way y'all really believe this for real. Y'all really believe this? And first of all, if you believe anything that, uh, never mind, let me not even say that. Anywho, so yeah, to cut or not to cut, it's like you really gotta understand if this person is worth being in your life, if they're worth being arm's reach, and then decide from there. If you still want this person in your life and you love them, you care about them, put them at arm's reach, and then work on the situation within yourself, with them, tell them about it, and then see if you can be closer. You know, bring them in a little more, back to where it was. If not, you can always just cut them off. And cut off is not like, oh, you have to have a negative feeling about the person or you have to say negative things about them. It could easily just be like, you be at peace, I be at peace. It's just better for us to not be in each other's lives, you know? It's easier to just let shit be. It's easier to just move on, you know? And I don't, right now in present time, I don't harbor any bad feelings towards anyone, but I will honestly tell you it's a lot of s- resentment towards these people. Well, two people. Um, Only because one is very passive aggressive. I don't trust them. There's not one good thing I could tell you about this person. And I'm glad that I haven't talked to them at all. I'm glad to not have this person in my life at all. I don't want this kid person around my kids, nothing. I have nothing good to say about them. The other person was a cousin and they put me in a situation that didn't even involve them. That's the crazy thing. Didn't even involve them and put me in the situation. And I said, I had already told them and forewarned them, like, hey, you put me in this situation, I'm never going to talk to you again. And baby, when I say never, I meant never. Don't care. It's never going to happen. Um, like I said, I'm at peace with what I have in front of me. God has blessed me tremendously to be at home with my children. Um, I'm not wanting for anything. All my needs and wants are met every day. You know, um, it's just one of those things that I'm just working on small things, one thing at a time. Like I said, working on being more vocal about how I feel and not letting anger fester inside me to where I'm exploding or to where I'm so overstimulated by other things that I'm letting anger overwhelm me because some things I could just give to God and keep moving. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be the angry mom. I don't want to be the angry black woman. I don't want to be none of those things. I want to be Marvel. I want to be happy. I want to be peaceful. I want to be funny. If you know me, baby, I like to laugh. We're going to laugh around this hoe. I love to joke around. I love to teach. I love to lead. I love to be the person you can call, you know? I love those things. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be defensive. I don't want to be anxious. I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to be crying. I don't want to be any of those things because those are the things that are going to be roadblocks in my journey. And I want my road to be so clear. I want God to clear my road to where I'm forever on a journey of being a better person. I want to forever be changing and being greater in God's eyes. I don't ever want to be so full of anger and disgust and negative, feelings that I'm hindering myself. Because once I start hindering myself, I'm hindering the others around me. I'm hindering my children. I'm hindering my relationship. I'm hindering my relationship with God. And thank God that I'm in a better place mentally to see the faults in myself. And sometimes we have to really, think about it like, is it really worth being so full of anger and hurt that we end up alone? And I don't want to be alone. Nobody wants to be alone. I want to have my children around me forever. I want my children to call me and tell me everything, good or bad. I want my partner, Charles, to be able to tell me everything. You know, I want it to be so cool and peaceful within myself that I exude it. I don't want to exude anger. I don't want to exude, you know, a nasty attitude. I want to be at peace. I want God to use me and show me that I could give him every piece of problem in my life and it'll help me in the outcome. And like I said, Ryan started school and I changed things at home. I had to really evaluate what kind of parenting I was using with him. And I had to change stuff around so that he was more successful at school. Now, if this was Marvel like 2 years ago, I would have been so defensive. I would have been like, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm not doing nothing wrong at school, at home. I'm not doing nothing. And honestly, I was doing a lot wrong. I was handling things wrong. I was disciplining him wrong. I was speaking to him wrong. I was using the wrong, level of voice with him. And you know what? In this moment right now, it made me think about something. Um, I'm gonna give you an example of how defensive I used to be and how I used to go back and be like, you know what? You was right. You was right about that. My friend Kitty, I don't know if I talked about this in the episode when I talked about Rain's speech therapy, but she was the one that told me I needed to get Rain speech therapy or whatever, get him evaluated. And the first thing I did was I got so defensive. I didn't even talk to her for like 2 days. And she would tell you, I was so goddamn mad. But you know what? I thought about it. I talked to a few people about it. And I looked at Rain and I was just like, I'll never know until I know, you know? So why not? Why not just do it? Why not just, not be so fearful of what it might be, and just get it over with. And I remember calling Kitty and telling her like, I'm as much as I don't want to admit it. You're right, and I got so defensive. I was so sad. And I remember crying and apologizing to her, and she was just like, "Friend, I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to get you to look beyond your own feelings. Look beyond how you think. You know." And I really do appreciate her telling me that because now I'm at a place where I'm not fearful of the unknown no more. I'm not fearful of not knowing what I don't know because it's better to know, better to help him and keep going, you know? And, I really do wish I had this type of headspace 2 years ago because I think I would have handled a lot of the situations or the people that I have cut out of my life a lot differently. The first person, I don't think anything would have changed. The first cousin, and I think we would still be talking. The third one, no, because those people, the first and the third person, they don't think beyond themselves. Some people are very selfish in how they feel, and they don't think about how shit affects you. And I don't like that. I like to think about how things affect everybody. I might be stubborn at first, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna evaluate my damn self, and then I'll correct myself. You know. But yeah, that's really what all that's been going on. And I basically told my friend like, hey, yeah, it's a blessing and a curse. Because eventually, if I keep going like that, I'll have nobody. If I got mad at Charles today and I decided to cut him off, I wouldn't have a husband. If I got mad at one of my kids right now and decided to cut them off, I wouldn't have any kids. I wouldn't have any family. I wouldn't have nobody because in my mind, once I cut you off, you don't exist. And that's so bad. Especially because so, if you love somebody and you care for them, you wouldn't do that. So I definitely had to evaluate things when it comes to, do I truly love and care for this person? Would I really be hurt if they're not in my life? And that's how I proceed with things now. Like I said, sometimes you just have to move people to arm's reach, keep them at a little distance, reevaluate the motions of the friendship or relationship for it to work and for both of us to have peace, and for things to just work out for the better good. Um, but yeah, that's about it. That's all I really want to talk about, because I know sometimes we all have those situations where we're struggling. We're like, damn, I really love this person, even if it's like platonic or non-platonic relationships. Like, you might be in love with somebody, but you're like, damn, I don't know what to do. You really got to evaluate how you feel about the person and how you would feel in the long run if this person wasn't in your life, and if it's worth fighting for. Because if it's not worth fighting for, don't even waste your time. Give it to God and keep moving. You know, you don't have to fight with them. You ain't got to talk bad about them. Give it to God and keep moving, basically. And I've learned that in such a short amount of time, and I wish I would have known that again a long time ago. But like I said, I've been a very stubborn person my whole life. Very stubborn person my whole life. So I'm so glad that I'm finally letting that go, and I'm letting God lead me more, lead me with my emotions. And I hope, the things that I'm saying, kind of help some of y'all out there, decide if it's worth cutting somebody off or keep them at arm's reach, or just, even if that means, hey, y'all have a conversation, y'all work it out, and things go back to normal. I would love that, you know? That would be perfect for anybody. I really, it's so hard cutting people off, you know? It sounds easy when you say it, but it is hard because you start mourning the relationship that you have with that person. You start feeling like, damn, certain things happen in your life and you're like, damn, I wish I could call that person and be like, you remember that happened? Hey, that happened to me too. Or like, hey, I remember, you said you knew stuff about this and I need help with this. I really don't want to try and figure it out on my own. I know you know. So, you want to call them, but you can't because you let your stubborn ass, you know, cut them off. When you really could have just had a conversation. You really could have just told them how you felt. And honestly, it's really not that easy sometimes because the person has to reciprocate what you're saying too. They also have to be willing to work with you. So remember that too. Um, but yeah, that's about it, you guys. That's what I'm working on. I'm growing, forgiving myself for putting me in stupid situations and letting God lead me, honestly. Um, that's about it, you guys. I love y'all and see y'all later. Bye bye.